The Libyan civil war finds the Libyan National Army, or LNA, of Haftar controlling the majority of the east of the country but facing territorial setbacks as the Turkey-backed Government of National Accord, or GNA, prepares its offensive on Sirte. Egypt's Sisi has stated that the Egyptian military will respond in Libya if Turkey launches or aids and abets an offensive on Sirte. Sources inform that Turkish aircraft are reconnoitering the area around Sirte, as well as formations of Egyptian troops by the border. A MiG-29 piloted by a Russian pilot has been brought down, and the pilot was largely uninjured. Libya figures prominently in Turkey's hydrocarbon security calculus. In 2011, Turkey held $19 billion of contracts in Libya that were cancelled, resulting from the revolution. This level of investment reveals the primacy of Libya in Turkey's energy security strategy. At over 40 million barrels of proven reserves of light sulfur content sweet crude and one of the lowest costs of production in the world, Libya's oil exports were vital to the EU prior to the revolution. Having access to these reserves will solve a fundamental problem for Turkey, easing its dependence on Russian oil exports, currently the largest source of Turkey's oil. France is competing directly against Turkey for access to these vast reserves. France's Total was operating under GNA-governed areas until a decision by the GNA to suspend its operations. Although the current status of Total in the country is unclear, what is apparent is that France has been supplying a spectrum of weaponry to Haftar's militia, despite a UN weapons embargo. Hence, Turkey and France are backing opposing factions in Libya, with Haftar currently controlling the majority of territory and oil reserves. France's position is also supported by Russia, which is operating in-country through mercenaries or contractors under the aegis of Wagner, a Russian security contractor with access to extensive Russian hardware, including aircraft. Russia is in no need of Libyan oil, but denying Turkey access to it would maintain Turkey's dependence upon Russian oil exports to Turkey. Thus, while both states may be coordinating actions in Syria and the Eastern Mediterranean, in Libya they are in opposition. Turkey seeks to establish an energy corridor across the Mediterranean, reaching from Turkey to Libya. Turkey asserts that the exclusive economic zones of both countries are actually contiguous, touching in the central Mediterranean. Thus, from Turkey's point of view, there should be no objection by any state to Turkey's transfer of hydrocarbon reserves from Libya's exclusive economic zone to Turkey's. Yet, by achieving this, not only does Turkey reduce dependency upon Russian oil, France would find itself competing against Turkey in order to secure its own hydrocarbon access. As for Greece, it has neither the technical capacity nor the political will to directly confront Turkey on its own over the movements in the Eastern Mediterranean. Yet, emboldened by France through strategic and military support, Greece now appears to be confronting Turkey in the Eastern Med as well as in Libya, where it is a nominal supporter of the Haftar militia. There is thus international concert against Turkey's drive to access hydrocarbon resources from Libya and creating a maritime energy corridor across the Mediterranean. If Turkey is able to secure access to Libyan oil and gas, it will achieve two essential strategic objectives. The first is hydrocarbon security. This is essential for Turkey's military preparedness, manufacturing capacity, industrial base, and consequently its political and strategic independence. The importance of this cannot be overstated. A predictable and reliable source of oil and gas will enable Turkey to undertake a level of industrial-based development not currently possible, and make such initiatives fiscally viable, which of course gives them a sustainable reality. The second essential strategic objective for Turkey is securing naval movement across the Mediterranean, imposing Turkey's sovereignty over the essential energy corridor linking it to Libya. Currently, the immediate region is very crowded militarily. The US 6th Fleet is operating in the Mediterranean. Russia's 5th Task Force, or 5th Fleet, is also operating there, having leased the port at Tartus for 49 years. France is sending its naval flagship, the aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle to the Eastern Mediterranean. The ostensible reason for this international concert is that Turkey's actions, which would lead to it trying to secure movement across the Mediterranean, are not just a one-dimensional movement of a state for its economic interests. Rather, Turkey's actions are cracking the entire security architecture built by NATO and Russia to keep countries like Turkey from emerging as regional powers and developing such that they would eventually constitute a challenge to the position of primary powers in Turkey's region. If Turkey is to emerge as a strategically independent state, it will have to challenge the existing defense architecture in the region sooner or later. Turkey will have to impose itself upon the existing arrangement, forcing the primary states to adjust and accommodate Turkey's vital interests. Although the US, Russia, and France are, in principle, opposed to Turkey's conduct and its emergence, there are limited options available to them to prevent Turkey from achieving its objectives. Turkey has not provided a pretext for military action against it, nor has it sought to declare the unilateral pursuit of its interests in Libya and the Mediterranean, no matter what the objections of other powers may be. Instead, Turkey is committed to the talks in Morocco and is stating the importance of a negotiated settlement. As a goodwill measure, Turkey has reduced the number of paramilitaries it has in Libya and has refrained from responding to provocations of its air force. Turkey has committed to a path of strategic independence, despite the risks and the evident scale of opposition to accommodating its vital interests. It is now engaged in a contest of gunboat brinkmanship and diplomacy, aimed at imposing its vital interests. Although Turkey has the political experience to conduct itself maturely and responsibly on a long enough timeline, the risk of conflagration between militaries in close proximity increases. Thus, Turkey may have to sustain a series of escalations and climb downs over time and developing strategic circumstances before it can expect progress towards its most vital interests in the Mediterranean. I'm your host, Dr. Omar Khan. Thank you for joining me on Insight.